Hi, I'm Vitold, and I'm gonna tell you what is the coolest production motorcycle in the world, because I do think I have a contender here, which is Ducati Diavel. So there you have it, the coolest motorcycle on our beloved Mother Earth, Ducati Diavel, which we know now as Ducati Diavel 1260, which stands for its engine displacement. Engine displacement of 1262 cubic centimeters. It is followed by 162 brutal horses, and in the US you guys have a little bit less, 150 something. But anyway, there's 129 newton meters of torque, and there is a freaking typo on Ducati's British website stating in one place, thankfully only in one place, that this bike has only 152 horsepower. So please, Ducati UK, do correct that. Americans did it correctly, so you can do it too. Especially that this engine deserves respect. It is a fantastic sounding V-twin, which also means that it's my favorite setup. Since you are wondering what is so cool about the Diavel, let me just guide you through it. Diavel is pretty long with its 160 centimeters of wheelbase, which helps you stay on the ground with the whole bike instead of shooting it into the first floor window when accelerating. So yeah, that's true. It also helps its looks, in my opinion, and kind of makes the proportions seem more serious. In general, there is a lot of meat in the front of the bike, and all that muscle kind of reminds me of an Amstaff dog with those short legs and strong jaw. I also guess that this gives a proper look at the character and behavior of a Diavel, but I'm not entirely convinced about the dog comparison now, as I also see very clearly that there is an ancient Egyptian influence here. This bike, more than other motorcycles, reminds me of a pyramid when looking at it from this side. So you see, it's like that. It's actually pretty cool. This is a real mystery anywhere here, while in the end it's just what is it actually? A simple cruiser, naked bike, and a sports bike, all in one. So it isn't really clear what this bike is and where it comes from, and it seems that this was a perfect idea when designing the world's coolest production motorcycle. So this new Diavel looks slightly differently than the first Diavel 1200. The front end has been a little bit changed, and it looks more pretty and less like from hell now. Perhaps it is even more gentle now and looks a bit too much like an ex-Diavel, but on the other hand, it may be a compliment to it. However, you still see that it's the same old devil in a slightly updated skin. People still fear it, and pedestrians don't cross the streets in front of it. Instead, they approach you from the sides, from a safe distance, and show you to rev the bike. It happened to me a few times when I was riding a Diavel, ex-Diavel 2. So you have to try that. It's really fun riding it. Now, once you rev it, you know that this is what a brilliant V-twin sounds like. It's really awesome. The thing is, it's really awesome even with a stock exhaust, which is actually very rare in motorcycles. It sounds both like a rattling snake and a growling lion, and all that at higher RPM. It is crazy and really addictive, so it makes you slow down and then accelerate again. Slow down, accelerate again, just to hear that crazy whining and growling sound. It's cool. And perhaps maybe that was why the pedestrians didn't want to cross the street in front of me. Anyway, not only does it have a cool shape in general, a cool shape and sound, but attention to details and doing things differently allowed Ducati to build an outstandingly beautiful piece of art, looking especially from up close. So check those front LED indicators built into the fairing, or the tail lamp, which is freaking totally awesome. This is what I would buy a Diavel for. So they went with the flow and basically took a concept motorcycle, they built it, and just started selling it, and you can buy it now. This is something that generally doesn't happen, but once it happens, Everyone loves it, and everyone wants to have it, and they give thumb up to it. I'm serious with this. Diavel really looks great. However, it's not just the looks and sound that make it so cool. It's also how it moves and how bloody quickly it moves. First of all, being so powerful, the performance just is there. And as long as you can hold on to the handlebar, it will accelerate like crazy. Truth is that your arms will give up before the engine does. So, yeah, especially that the rear tire is 240 millimeters wide and it's just freaking huge. It looks fantastic and would be typical for a power cruiser. It provides a lot of grip and it's not that easy to make it slip, especially that now you're getting Ducati's new enhanced traction control with wheelie control, so power delivery is better and smoother. This is what you want to have in this bike, really. And you are getting it. I just hope that Ducati have figured it out with this new Diavel, as the previous one, the 1200, traction control was terrible, and every time would try to send you to the ground, kicking in suddenly, and just as suddenly letting it go, making it a super shaky experience in general. The shaking and even falling of the bike isn't the worst, but the worst is the sound that Diavel would make at that point. If people around might think that you actually don't know how to ride and just try to stall the bike, trying to get going from the third gear or something like that. Yeah, it's weird, but on paper, there is lots of tech and Ducati doesn't disappoint us here. So there is also cornering ABS, there is a quick shifter, there is cruise control, there is hill start assist and keyless engine start, which is actually a very nice thing to have. It's great. Also, you might connect your phone via Bluetooth and see what's going on with your phone on bike's display. But here comes a but. There is this awful digital screen that perhaps even fits the bike, or perhaps it doesn't. It is actually hard to decide in this case. The Diavel is so interesting that it's really difficult to destroy its whole image with anything, including a stupid screen with even more stupid and hard to navigate menu. You can change the themes there, and that's fine. I'll change them every day, but still, getting where you want through that menu, with all those options, it can really take time. So how it moves is important, and it's worth to know that torque is there pretty much at any point when you need it. Most of it, and I mean most, is available right from idle all the way till the end. This is important because, in fact, at any speed, you should have enough of torque for Diavel to be able to move pretty smoothly and nicely. Don't drop below 3,000 or 3,500 RPM because it will start shaking. That's just how it is with V-twins. This also depends on which riding mode you set, and you've got a few of them here. It's sport, touring, and urban. And aside from this, you are able to set traction control as you please on a scale from almost no help to a lot of help. And you can play with some of those settings with your smartphone and Ducati's application that's called Ducati Link. I bet some of you didn't know that. I didn't know that for some time. And now that's interesting and probably done because using this freaking bike's digital display is so bad. So anyway, the whole bike is propelled by a simple chain. I personally almost always prefer a drive shaft, but clearly Ducati have other plans. Maybe it's weight saving, or maybe they just cannot make it stay reliable. All right. I actually had some issues with the chain in a Diavel that I was riding some time ago. It was the 1200 one. It was making a strange clicking sound, and you guys were asking me what the hell that was. And for a long time I had no idea, and then, together with your help, I found out that it actually was a chain. So see, and I still think that I would prefer a drive shaft because of easier maintenance. That's one of the big things that you get having a drive shaft in a motorcycle. So I should tell you that same Diavel that I just mentioned is actually right now one of the most popular personalities in the world, and my videos with that Diavel, well, they were watched by millions of you guys. millions. So thank you for that. And I met a supermodel and had a little chat with her while riding a Diavel. So if you are new to internet, please go ahead and watch me riding that Diavel and saving a blonde model on the streets. The link is there for you in the description, of course. So what is Diavel really so good in? Or why is this bike so great? You should take a Diavel for a test ride, get to some speed, like between 50 and 80 kilometers per hour, or 30 and 40 miles or 50 miles per hour. Keep it in middle range, hold it really, really well, just, stay tight there, and just open the throttle fully. If you're going to flip, just let it go, but otherwise just keep going. And this is a freaking amazing experience. This explosion, exploding forward, this roar of a wild animal jumping out of the cage and eating a little kid alive. This is unbelievable on Diavel. And I don't think that I have ever experienced such an explosion on any other bike. And the amount of torque is huge, and it revs pretty high as well. So it's not pulling just for a moment before you have to change a gear, right? So, well, actually there is a quick shifter, so changing gears doesn't really slow you down at all. But it's all amazing, and you will love Diavel for it. Ducati actually claims some unbelievable acceleration times on this new 1260, so I cannot imagine what this feels like. I think we gotta thank that huge rear tire for all that grip. And on Diavel 1200, I managed to do a random acceleration from 0 to 100 kilometers, 0 to 60 miles per hour, in 3 seconds flat. And then I reached 249 kilometers on it. And I'll link to that video in the description too, so that you can see it. It is ridiculously quick, both of these. They do vibrate a bit, and every V-twin motorcycle does vibrate a little bit. You can see how the camera mounted on the bike shakes, and yeah, it shakes, and it will shake. That's part of living with a V-twin. But it actually adds to this feeling of craziness. So don't expect Diavel to be gentle when doing those things. It is rather stiff in terms of suspension, so if you ride over a big pothole, it might hurt. On good surfaces, it's comfortable, but what would not be comfortable if it's flat, right? So on bumps, remember that it will feel rather stiff, and it has to be, because otherwise it wouldn't ride so well, and simply it would lack control. So it has to be like this. Also, too soft in the rear, and you cannot accelerate without doing wheelies. And that's not what you want. And right now that I'm thinking about it, the only bike that comes into my mind as a competition is a Yamaha VMAX, which weighs, mind you, over 310 kilograms. And that's a lot for a bike to stay nimble and easy to handle in the city. It's not gonna happen. And that's why I don't think that it's really actually competing with Diavel. That one is simply a large and heavy cruiser. However, you may also attach side bags to your Diavel if you want to, even straight from Ducati. You may order them straight from Ducati, so which is very nice. And now, if you would like to get even further with it, you can get an S version of a Diavel with adjustable all-in suspension, different wheels, and even better brakes. However, I believe that this might not change much, as Diavel is not really about these things, I think. Still, if you like all the S's and R's and HP's in the name, then go ahead and just put a few more thousands of whatever currency you use and you'll have the S1. So there you have it, the Ducati Diavel in its newest and coolest version so far of 1260 and 1260S. It's officially being titled right now by me the world's coolest bike. If you've got other challenges that you believe deserve the title even more, go ahead, please let me know in the comment and we will see how they can dethrone the Diavel. If you like this video, please give it a thumb up and subscribe for more honest motorcycle videos from me. See you soon.